UCF?
We're playing
Yeah,
Taco
too.
Fall.
And we're losing right now.
Ah! Don't
Okay,
say
but
it.
it's like 2 minutes long.
I know. But
It's 8 to 10.
I know. We're losing.
Let's bring it back.
It's 8 to
Hi
10.
everyone. Thank you all for coming while there's a Duke game going on. But happy spring. Just before we dive right into things, I thought it'd be nice to just go around and share how our breaks were. Or if you're looking forward to anything this week. I'll start. So I spent spring break pretty much at home back in Maryland, sleeping a lot. So much like the day I got back, somebody asked me how the weather at home was, and I literally had to think for a second because I was like, I just was in my bed for most of it. But yeah, it was getting warmer towards the end, which is nice. But I also have some good news. I was accepted into the accelerated master's program in global health.
Yay!
So I'll be in Durham for another year.
Yay!
Yeah, so that was like definitely a highlight.
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
That's cool. So my spring break, I visited some schools also in Boston. And then I was with my partner in Milwaukee, and it was just like really nice to have time to relax and go for long walks and runs and decompress a little bit. What was the other part of the question? What were you excited about?
Yeah, what are you looking forward to?
There's 4 weeks left.
I'm not looking forward to it. What do you mean?
I mean the after part, yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I went back home to Arizona, so it was 85 degrees. Didn't take any clothes back because all my shorts were at home. Yeah, but I went, me and my mom took a spontaneous trip to San Diego, so we just took over there and spent time there by the ocean, seals. That was nice. My cousin came over from New York, so I got to spend time with her. I guess what I'm looking forward to is, I have nationals for club swim this weekend. That'll be fun.
Whoa.
Wow, that's really fun.
That'll be fun.
What events do you do?
Butterfly.
Oh my god.
Butterfly
I feel like
freestyle. I was
Someone can do
point-
butterfly, they're like
yeah.
not human because like it's just like so hard. So
I was 0.1 seconds off the time for running freestyle events, all of them. So I was like,
oh my gosh.
but as I'm saying butterfly and backstroke.
Then we got some high achievers in the room already.
Way to show off, guys. I'm kidding.
Hey, I'm Marion. For spring break, I went to the beach with my partner. That's like on the Outer Banks, North Carolina, and we went to the North Carolina aquarium and so saw jellyfish and sea turtles and sharks, otters, and manta rays. It was really fun.
Yeah, I posted I think a really nice picture of a jellyfish on Facebook. I was just like
Yeah,
looking
Yeah.
at it
That's
really
my
well.
new
It was like
phone
a-
wallpaper.
Oh.
It's really pretty. I love it. It looks like a supernova in outer space.
Yeah.
It's amazing how
What are you excited about?
excited about. Well, I'm excited about the conference in 4 weeks. It's like high anxiety time right now, but I'm really looking forward to it.
This is the symposium.
Yes, this is the Duke one
Yeah,
that
yeah.
we are organizing. Yeah.
I had a pretty eventful spring break. I went on a road trip with some friends from Duke. It wasn't really a road trip, though, because we took trains. None of us wanted to drive.
Rail trip.
So we started out, I'm from North Carolina, so I took them to my house and like got to spend time with my family, and they got to meet my family, and that was really nice. And then we went to Washington, D.C., which is where one of my friends was from. I'm a big history girl, like government nerd, so like love that. And then we went to New York and saw Dear Evan Hansen, which was amazing.
That's coming. They're doing that here.
Yeah, they just came. The
Wait.
guy,
We missed it.
Who are they? I don't know who this is.
like the national tour of Dear Evan Hansen.
Dang it.
Was at DPAC. Yeah, it just ended. But
Who's Dear Evan Hansen?
it's a musical on Broadway.
Oh.
It's like a really, really like popular musical. It deals with like issues of actually like disability and suicide. And it's really deep, but it was amazing. And the guy who plays the lead role is actually only 17. He's one of the youngest actors to ever like get a lead role. And my friend that's from Duke that I met up with in New York is friends with him. So like she got to see him because they did theater growing up together.
Wow.
So he was insane. It was phenomenal. Everything was amazing. And then we ended up in Boston, which is where last friend was from. I did like a history tour of Boston, ate some lobster, watched lots of basketball, watched lots of Duke basketball over break. It was really nice because it was like a balance of like getting to be home, but like also getting to travel and be with friends. So, and then what I'm excited for, this next month is gonna be a lot just because like the semester's like ending. I have a lot of things to do, but I have a lot of like performances and a lot of music related things going on in my life right now. So I'm really excited to see like where those go.
Tell us when they are. We'll come.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I know my a cappella group's show is Friday, April 5th at 7 p.m. But will update you.
Yeah, post on the group.
Hi everyone, for those who don't know me, I'm Trent. Sorry for me being late. It turns out why McDonald's is so slow is why I want automation. But anyway, what were the questions?
How is your spring break and what, if anything, are you looking forward to?
Spring break was fantastic. It was warm, sunny. I got to go spearfishing again, and most importantly, I got to see my dogs. All 4 of them. And then what I'm excited for is I've got Quidditch Nationals coming up on the 12th.
Everybody's going to that. Sorry, continue.
So I'm hoping I don't come back a bloody pulp like last year, but here's to hoping. And then the symposium I'm looking forward to. And I'm not looking forward to physics. And us, winning the championship, winning the tournament, that's great too.
Hi everybody, I'm Jay. Good to see everybody again. So let's see, my break was pretty chill, I guess. I was asleep at night generally. I saw Captain Marvel, so that's good. That's good, I like it. And I'm looking forward to finishing this CS project that I'm working on, and then hopefully after that, getting out and sleep again. So, yeah.
Good setup.
I never get that when I go home. I'm Denisa. My spring break was pretty good. It's mostly just sleeping on my mom's coffee. Not going outside of the house wearing pajamas all day. It's pretty great. I guess I'm looking forward to the end of the semester, but I'm also like terrified because I only know what it means to be a first year, and I'm not ready for my second year of college yet. We'll see how it goes.
Where did you go for break? Back home?
My hometown is called Lawrenceville, but it's like 45 minutes outside of Atlanta if you're going towards you probably know Swanee, it's right next to it.
Cool.
I'm Maddie. My spring break was really rich and busy. I spent it staying in different churches in Cuba, learning about just the development of religion there and how the different government structures have affected it over time in history, with a group of students from different colleges around the Triangle area. So it was really
Didn't you get a part of that?
yeah, it was a lot. It was Duke PCM, so Presbyterian Campus Ministries from the different universities, yeah.
Cool.
And I'm looking forward to the Disability and the Disciplines Conference in 2 weeks. I'm excited, my first conference, so.
You mean Society for Disability Studies Conference? You said Disability and Disciplines.
Oh yeah, no.
Which is the other one.
Oh, I did say the other one.
Confused everybody.
Yeah,
We're getting
Society
more
for Disability Studies.
Yes.
Yes.
Got it.
It's not in 2 weeks.
This,
Okay.
yeah, the one,
One's in
yeah,
2
there's
weeks,
one in
one's
2
in 4
weeks.
weeks.
4 weeks,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ohio, the other ones.
Okay,
And the one in 2 weeks is not at Duke, so.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Simon. God, I just lost my train of thought already. My spring break I spent at home.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
I feel like you were waiting the
I
whole
know.
time.
Just my 2 weeks notice.
We definitely didn't plan that one out. I got to see some friends. I put on 5 pounds within the span of 7 days, probably, most likely. And yeah, just minimally productive. So yeah.
What are you excited about?
Oh, I am excited about. Gosh, there's just a lot of things to be excited about.
Everything.
Everything is great. The weather is something to be excited about.
Rain tomorrow.
Never mind.
Way to rain on his parade. Quite literally.
Man, so many good jokes today.
It's a stressful time, like after break, because I think like a lot of things are still kind of lingering on. But then it's also an exciting time. Like all the dance and music groups have their showcases coming up. I highly recommend you guys going to them. Hang in there. Yeah. So I thought like before we jump into the agenda, it would be nice to kind of refresh ourselves and maybe like think about this as we're discussing everything today, like just our guiding direction / focus, like what do we want to accomplish by the end of the semester and what needs to be done for it, and like where are we now and how do we move forward, like what's working well, what we can do better. So if you guys have any thoughts about this, like just feel free to pipe in. Of course, as always, like if you guys like have anything to say, like please just say it. Yeah, and so I'll start off and say talking about the Body Banter event recap. It was this past Thursday. It was the panel discussion co-hosted with NAMI and Body Banter, and it was in the link. It was a pretty interesting discussion, especially in the context of experiencing eating disorders at Duke and how students have coped with that. And I think it was pretty eye-opening as to like how subtle actions can really have a lasting impact on people, which is important to keep in mind. And then, of course, like going over the various resources that Duke has to offer that may not necessarily be advertised well or could be taken advantage of, like the free nutritionist or things of that nature. Feel free to ignore the times on the agenda. That was just me making a rough estimate. But yeah, Trent and I also went to the SOFC budget hearing this past week. So Trent, want to tell us more about it?
Yeah, so essentially, I basically this year we were only granted $1,000 from the city government. This was our first year as a chartered organization. So obviously I did the natural thing and asked for triple the amount. Now, whether they give us the full thing is a maybe, because a lot of what they said, which I put budgeting for, honorariums, catering, that sort of thing, based off of what we have traditionally done from the past couple of years, based on our different events, they said that can be funded through programming. But having done that for 2 years now, I know that the programming doesn't always get fulfilled. So the super important thing is that we've had a lot of support from like the Health Humanities Lab and stuff, and we still have the money from them. We still have some leftover. Now, I want to do is hold on to it as much as we can so we can use it for next year. And I'm going to go with USAID tomorrow morning to make sure that happens. Now, we still have around $740 from DSG explicitly used for like what Jay and I asked for last year, which was like audio captioning and video descriptioning. But we're going to be using that for the ASL interpreters for the disability and the disciplines event. So we won't be able to fund all of it straight up with the DSG funding, but that's what we can go for SOFC funding to finish up the other half. So for the most part, we'll be you like any government funding, if you don't use it, you lose it. So we're gonna use all of it and then keep all of our own transfers from everything else for next year, just in case they don't fund us fully. That's about it.
So I was wondering, so you request money for captioning again, and you're expecting issues with the reappropriation of the money that was technically appropriated for captioning?
I asked Ben, he says if we move line items around, then not really. It won't give us an issue. And the second thing is that I did not ask for audio captioning again because we didn't really use it this year. Yeah, so, and they're gonna, because this is the first year, so, they're gonna audit us, so if we request an audio captioning again and didn't use it, then that might give us a little bit of trouble. So I explicitly just asked for 1,000 in ASL instead.
Yeah. So like they're not gonna audit us this
I
year.
already submitted everything. I already said it's turned in the audit. That's what I spent the last few days of spring break writing up. So that's about it. Yep.
Thank you, Trent.
We're not in debt, so that's all that matters.
Yay. And then money we got from the Health Humanities Lab, is that like, let's say we have a little bit of left over.
Yes.
Do we have to give that back? Or
That's what I'm asking tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, because unfortunately, Marion and I were talking about how much it would cost for the ASL interpretation for the event. So once Marion was kindly able to hash out an estimate for me, then I was gonna see where I can burn through the DSG allocation so we don't have to spend our own Health Humanities Lab money and from the interdepartmental transfers, and then we can finish that off with SMC programming.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
So we're just using the right kind of money.
Okay.
That's basically what we're doing.
We had a pretty eventful week, like as we're coming right back from break with the event, the budget hearing, and Jay and Kevin also put together a very comprehensive accessibility.
Jay and Addie.
Oh, sorry, Jay and Addie. I'm so sorry. But yeah, guys, please tell us more about it.
All right, yeah, so we got the report back from the surveys that were sent to the students registered with SDAO, and like 88% of them were in support of having a Center for Disability and Diversity, which is like pretty good, like pretty strong support. We wrote that up into a report and also like had information about where they would want the 88%. Oh, yeah, it's like, yeah, like where they would want the location for it to be, like a central place.
Sorry.
And also the like different roles of the center. And we sent that in, and then Lee replied and wanted more information about like different like programs at other schools and centers at other schools, and wanted like a report about what other schools have done and that, like how that might look done at Duke. So that's like the next step for
And
right.
I feel like, and I saw Kevin this week, and he told me a little bit about that. And we had in the folder somewhere done research on this previously. So I feel like you have a pretty good start, but I don't know if she had more specific questions that she wanted you guys to tackle. Right? You said something about data sets.
Yeah, no, I think I was overanalyzing what she was asking for.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think she's asking for what other schools wanted
Yeah.
before leading up to the establishment of the center. I think she's just curious, what do their centers look like,
Okay.
fit to the needs of their students, and what would that look like at Duke?
Okay.
So I
see.
think what you thought originally was right, and
Was
I was
more-
reading too into
okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, like I saw all the information. There's like 4 different documents related to like past like advocacy. So
Yeah.
and like the list of current centers. So
Yeah.
think about that. It's a good resource.
Is the report in the Google Drive?
Yeah, I made a separate folder for it that's called, I think it's called like Disability Cultural Center. It's under the current activism.
Okay,
There's
okay.
like a folder that's specifically for the Disability Diversity Center. It has that.
Nice. Thank you.
Can we take a second to give a round of applause to Maddie and Jake?
Yeah.
Just like, they spent so much time on this, and like really reading the report, it was so kick-ass, and like just wow, really awesome job.
Proud of you guys.
Yeah, really
Let me see. Like,
huge step forward.
Yeah, like this thing is like.
Very.
With our leftover money, if we want to get this place open, we can have like a giant mural of your faces on it.
Like guys, like look at how small the scroll bar is.
Well, when we get the center, I have some artwork we can hang up in there.
Yeah.
Bar
Yeah.
sent from some of the students.
Well, yeah.
That'll be awesome.
How many people filled out the survey again?
104.
Amazing.
Three.
And I think the best way to commemorate this camp would probably be to send it to the library and get it sent out archives. Yeah, I just like.
Yeah, everything.
This or the faces. Or
Like, no.
I'm cool for both.
It's not me.
Everything that's in our drive, like, well, maybe not like everything that's in there all
Oh.
the time, but like a lot of the stuff that's in there would be worth archiving and revisiting.
We-
Collection.
I never followed up on. So I went to that archiving tutorial.
Yeah, you did.
And it's like I never followed up with that.
That's okay. We haven't thrown anything away. So.
Yeah, I actually kept some of my. I kept some flyers from some of the events
Nice.
last year. I like continued like to remember to keep some of the flyers to like. But honestly, they're all digital now, so I'm like, I don't know why I'm being
There's
so
a bunch
old
more
fashioned.
archives to add after the conference.
So, real quick question. So, I'm looking here in the drive under ongoing activism, just looking for center. So, it looks like among the 4 documents in here, so we have some interview about the Syracuse Center.
Yeah.
And then I guess we have this other document with cultural centers, but it looks like it's just mostly a bunch of links. So,
The one that says College Disability Cultural Centers is a bunch of links. Yeah, to all the other ones that already exist.
Should we change the name to Links to
Or the
College?
ones that don't exist, but for some universities have tried and failed to get them.
So I mentioned last semester that I wrote a 20-page policy paper, and I may actually have some information in there that we can use. I thought that your students last semester were already covering it, which is why I didn't look into it any further, but I can look at it again.
No, what my students did was a lot shorter than that, so.
Their document is actually in the folder.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
look
I
at
looked
their,
over that too, and I realized there wasn't as much overlap as I thought.
They
Yeah.
wrote a thing, but it didn't get published anywhere or sent anywhere, it just.
Oh, mine didn't get published.
Right, they submitted it to the Chronicle and it didn't end up becoming an article.
but they also like in all the things that they lay out, they just say here are other schools with centers, and they don't really contextualize what are the specific uses, how do they compare to each other, and what would that look like at Duke, which is sort of what we need to add.
That's kind of the next step, is to kind of read through some of this stuff and.
And I think it might be helpful if we reached out to some people like even at Syracuse or at Stanford and like got their personal testimony.
My students also did an interview with Lydia Brown, is that not in here?
Yeah, I think she wasn't
Okay.
successful in establishing a center, and I think,
Right.
because I think what Lee Fickling was looking for was successful
Success
centers, what
ones,
did they do and how.
Yes.
So I think maybe the cultural center group should meet separately this week, and maybe talk about next steps. See you in the
Thanks for
meeting.
coming.
Bye.
And we should also just draft a quick email probably to.
Sure.
When does Lee wanna hear back from you guys?
She didn't specify a timeline. The way she puts it is it's all rush, but the sooner and faster we respond, the more there might be some momentum on this semester. And I think it'd be nice if we could try to meet with an administrator this semester again.
By administrator, do you mean like the working group, or do you want?
Like maybe even Tom and Trask.
So I think Kyle Kavanaugh would be next, right? Like what's.
Yeah, Kavanaugh or Trask, yeah. Probably Kavanaugh.
What is Kyle Kavanaugh's position? I still don't
He's
know.
the vice president of administration.
Oh,
Lee Fickling's boss.
Yeah.
okay, I see. I did not.
But I think since we only have like 4 weeks, I think we should try to finish the report, like all the things that they asked for, and meet with them, so that next semester we can move in. Like we have all the information now. Let's talk about actionable steps. I think. I don't know what you all think.
Yes.
Because I don't think we can actually like create a senate this semester, but I think we can next semester.
Yeah.
I just thought of something.
Take it down.
This list of college centers, do they have the one, oh, the one at University of Illinois Chicago? They just put out a job ad for a director for that Disability Cultural Center. Would it be helpful for you guys to see that? Because sometimes a job ad tells you things about what activities
Sure.
are happening.
That'd be cool.
Oh, one of us can fake apply to.
I think Marion should apply. And be like, there's not one of these at Duke. What do you all do? The inside scoop.
I don't actually think.
Do undercover reporting for 3 weeks.
It was on the search committee, Carrie sent off.
Oh wait, she works
Send
with that in the university. Oh wow.
So it was her Facebook, and then she.
Wait, why doesn't she? Well, I feel like she's kind of busy right
Probably
now.
talk to her on.
Well, because she's a professor, right?
Oh.
If you're a professor, you don't want to become a director.
Really?
It's a different kind of work. It's administrative work as opposed to like scholarly
Well, we could
teaching.
probably reach out to her and ask about the center more.
You could, yeah. I I'm sure she'd be happy to talk to any of you. I mean, I'm pointing at Simon because like you were the one that wanted her to come last year. But and you
You're
wrote
the
about
champ.
her kind of work in your paper for my class.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want, I can like reach out to her and say, would you be willing to talk with one of my or one of the students at DDA? I shouldn't say my students, like you're not my students.
Well, we were your, or some of us.
My advocates.
My DDA students, I can say to her, would you be willing to talk with one of them about the cultural center and what kind of work, would that kind of interview be helpful?
Yeah, would you
Who would
loop
wanna
us in
do-
on email?
Yeah, but who would wanna do it? Should I just like email it to the whole DDA exec and her, or just pick one of you who might be able to talk to her and just introduce?
Some of us on the task force.
I think it depends when she's available to talk.
Exactly.
So why don't you,
Everyone on the task force?
Why don't you
Plus
there's
send
10
it
of us.
to everyone
So,
on the, send to all of exec.
Just exec.
And
send it to
I-
exec, I can make sure it's coordinated with the
Okay.
task force, yeah.
Like you can, I would say send it to exec and the task force, but whatever you guys think is
Okay.
better.
Alright, I'm just gonna, for right now, I'm gonna copy paste this job ad and put it onto the.
I'll email you with all of our emails, that way you can just copy and paste.
Okay.
Let me see if I can even get
I
it.
spelled it right. I'm so proud of myself.
Also, I'm just thinking out loud here, but task force leaders, I know we have like our own group chat. If you could just message like your meeting times, like when you guys meet. I just want to try and like see if I can come to them this week or next week.
Like a task force meeting.
Task force.
I feel like a Power Ranger. or something.
Transform.
Yeah.
Wait, so you're not there?
Oh, wait,
What? She hasn't shown up?
Yeah, no, that's what I've been wondering. I was wondering for you.
Because I couldn't drop, but I thought you were there. I'm sorry.
Are we talking about the accessibility mapping task force?
Yeah, so I understood that last meeting that I didn't just want to interrupt that you guys put me down as the head of the mapping, but the previous time before that, it was actually Michaela that was supposed to.
So that's why I put her down as the head because she volunteered, but it was like very brief, and she hasn't showed up to any of our meetings.
Exactly,
And so
so
I just assumed that you kind of took that up. But
kind of for now, I've been setting up the meetings between the head of the collab and Manish and Yvonne, but that's as far as I've been doing so far. So the thing I wanted to say is that Michaela hasn't been showing up, even though she is the lead of, technically the lead of accessibility mapping. But would you guys want me to start taking charge of that?
Well, has she communicated with you at all? Okay, then
She
yeah.
hasn't shown up to the Manish's meeting at all.
Okay, so I mean,
Because I haven't been doing the Manish's meetings or anything, because that's not my job.
well,
So,
I feel like the logical step would be for
for
you.
me to take.
'Cause you're the most-
Unless you wanna do it.
Nah, I don't really want to. I think, yeah.
Ken, it's all you.
Do try to get in touch with her though, just like,
Okay.
check in, like, hey. what's
I'll
up?
message her again and see what happens.
But yeah, please, like, take over. and tell
That's
her.
the thing I just wanted to clarify. I'm like, I'm actually not in charge. Don't give me responsibility. I'm really bad at it.
So are you gonna be able to come to this meeting regularly? Okay.
Oh, this is.
I'm just reading the emails from Lee. That's so nice of her to help coordinate the meetings with Kyle.
Yeah.
That's really good.
You know what? Yes, I would just put me in this thing.
Yeah.
So did we wanna go over the action or the updates from the last meeting now?
If you've got any updates, because I haven't been to them.
So let me just see how quickly I can go through all this. So the meeting with the collab, so it looks like it was pretty productive. So basically, we spent up to 20 hours on our project, and what we're gonna do is go in with a proposal to them. And so basically then they'll see like how feasible it is for them, and we'll just kind of talk about it, and then they'll end up working on it, and eventually after the 20 hours, they'll have like a tactile map.
Are you talking about the, which program did you talk to them?
So I think this was the meeting with.
Especially Chip, then it's probably gonna be, Bluesmith or the Design Hub program, and either way, just be having a lot of experience in there, and it's definitely feasible.
Yeah. They said like usually people just come in with a very vague idea, but we actually have our own PDF maps with basically almost exactly what we want the tactile map to look like. So we're going in very prepared. So it looks like that's going to be good. So the idea is then by the end of the semester we have some sort of tactile map as a proof of concept that's made of metal and everything. So yeah, good stuff. We're still working out the details.
You said end of semester?
Yeah.
I know why. It's because we're getting a new metal printer.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow. Wait, is it like just gonna be like a sheet of metal?
It's called selective laser sintering. So you basically take powdered metal and then use a laser and blast it until it fuses into shape, and you do it layer by layer until you get the 3D structure you want.
Well, I don't know how you would do that in a controlled fashion. It just sounds like you're shooting lasers at things.
You're literally shooting lasers into metal dust.
Laser, that's so cool.
So okay, now I know why it's the end of the semester, because that's the expected delivery time.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll have a proof of concept, and yeah, I mean if anyone wants to help us kind of refine the maps, or if anyone in particular especially has experience working with people who are low vision or like experience using tactile maps, I think that's one thing that we are really looking for, is to like get somebody really knowledgeable, because the people like the co-lab are not particularly knowledgeable in this specific area. So I think the group is reaching out to maybe 1 or 2 people who do have experience with that, but if anyone else has any needs, that would be great. The other thing with the technical, the app piece of it, is that they now have access to GPU clusters. So like they're gonna be starting to do like a lot of really cool computing, and like gonna get involved in that. We definitely need more people. So yeah, that's about it. So.
Thank you, Jay. That's a lot. But yeah, let us know when like whatever your next meetings are with the collab or with each other, anything. So you can try to, I can try to come and join, but also with leads. Do you think it would be a good idea to reach out to SDAO
So we are trying to meet with them, but we're not sure when it's gonna happen, because we were gonna meet with them on March 1st, but then there was some issue, and Lee Pinkling was not there, so we had to reschedule, and we're still working on rescheduling. So yeah, that's kind of up in the air. There is some guy who made a tactile map for a camp at Duke, affiliated with the Duke hospitals. So I think we're gonna talk to him, but other than that, we don't really have any good leads for that. Yeah, so we're gonna send.
Oh, have you reached out to Dan Ellison? I mean, you guys have been kind of working with him a lot. He's someone who would be more experienced with working with people with low vision.
Right, I'll ask Manish about that.
Yeah, because I know that I've seen some emails, or Dan has CC'd me on some emails with Manish, so I'm sure that at least Manish is in touch with him. But that would be my lead in terms
We
of
did not mention his name at the meeting yesterday, so I'll make sure that they're aware of that.
You can follow up. Yeah, follow up on that thread.
Good. I know we touched a little bit on the cultural center before, but is there anything else specific that you think all of us should know? What's where things headed? Is there anything we can do?
Well, I think probably what we need to do is have a meeting later this week. So if anyone would like to come to the meeting, feel free to reach out to exec / also just to me directly, or anyone on the team. And we'll probably plot out next steps for the rest of the semester, because I think it'd be good to have sort of that time frame.
We need more people power to help with the report. Like just more.
I mean, we have 10 people. The question really is how many of those 10 will be able to work.
Yeah.
So if people have time and would like to contribute an hour a week or something, like, yeah, please
We'd have to. I feel like that's what the meeting would be for. To be like, make sure what we need to do and then
Hash out the feasibility. Yeah. So yeah, please, if anyone, if anybody could spare some time, or even if it's just like look it over and edit, or add some suggestions, like please, just let us know.
And this is, wait, is this a separate report from what Maddie put together?
That report served as the basis for Lee's next question about other centers. So now we're gonna prepare a report on centers.
Okay. Put it in
And
the
then,
Google Drive so anyone can exactly
Cool.
can look at it.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, of course. Simran, tell us about ASL.
Yeah, so for ASL, I was talking with Bailey, and what we need to, so basically they have created their activism committee, which is obviously just the ASL activism committee, and we need to have a meeting between our committee and their committee, and so next semester that's gonna get more, it's gonna become more progressive next semester, because right now they still need to talk to DSG to get more, more stuff done, but the person in charge of their committee is going abroad next semester. So next semester it's just going to be me in charge of both of those. So it's just going to be a merged effort to get that more advanced. But what I wanted to do in the next probably 1 or 2 weeks is get a meeting between both our committee and then their committee.
Yeah, definitely. Just let us know what times you're thinking. So any of us can join, and also please don't spread yourself too thin, especially next semester.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, if you need any support or extra people power, just don't hesitate to reach out. Has anyone heard from Alexander about the Max program?
Nope.
Okay, I think I gave him the contact information of the people who wanted to join that task force, and he said he'd reach out over spring break. Maybe he got caught up in something. I'll ask him again. But yeah.
It's still pretty early afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think let's go back and touch on the Disability and Disciplines conference coming up on in about 4 weeks. I mean, in Logan, where are we? What needs to be? Oh, I registered the event on Duke Groups. It's pending approval.
Okay.
I wasn't sure who the caterer was. I had emailed you.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want it to log out, so
Yeah.
I don't think that's a reason it should be.
Right, because you guys are paying for the catering. The catering is Comfort Cuisine for most of it. BU Blue will be doing the breakfast.
Yeah.
And that they're just sort of in-house caterer. So our priority really is to, first of all, find 2 undergrads. We already have 2 grad students on the student plenary, but no confirmed undergrads yet. And we're trying to prioritize students who have disabilities and who can talk about their experience. So we need to prioritize getting 2 more students to be on that panel. And we're thinking we probably need to place an ad or kind of reach out to people using the Facebook and Twitter and using our listserv, and just to reach out to people and say are you a student with a disability? Are you willing to talk about your experience and describe what the session is? Which we're thinking about it as a kind of a frank conversation about what works in the classroom and what doesn't, and so just keeping in mind that the audience will include faculty. And possibly, Jay had asked before if administrators will be there, and possibly, I can't uninvite them, you know what I mean? I never not that I had sent them an explicit invitation, but they're aware that this conference is happening, they're helping in some ways, and so some of them might be in the room. So it's kind of a critique about what problems have students run into, but also what good experiences have they had, what teachers have sort of taken that extra step to make their classroom experience more accessible. So that's our first priority, is to find people for that. And then we just need a team of volunteers to actually work at the conference itself. DDA exec people obviously would be great for that. But just to sort of help people find their way around. There's basically 3 rooms that all the events are happening in, and you'd have to know where everything is happening and just be able to point people to the right place or guide them if they're blind or if they just need help getting to the room. And then to be by the food and say what the food all is, because it'll all be labeled. That's one of the things we really like about Comfort Cuisine, is that they do gluten-free and vegan stuff, and they like label the ingredients of each thing and they make it really clear. But some people aren't gonna be able to see that, so we're gonna just need students to just be there as helpers. And I don't know, I feel like it would make sense to have the students have some kind of like a uniform, whether that's like an apron or something that you wear to kind of just visually mark yourself as a helper at the conference. So I can talk to the Ruby about that because I feel like they said that they might have some like aprons.
I can make name tags.
That they've used. Yeah, name tags are great, but I'm kind of thinking that hopefully everyone at the conference will have a name tag.
Yeah.
Like all the
Something that would make us stand out more.
I can make really fancy name tags. Lasers.
I thought we had like a pen or something.
There are DDA pins that we have,
Yeah.
but they're a little small.
We could all wear like I feel like a uniform. If they're
Like
if
if I
we
just
don't
say
have a
everyone
pen.
wear red or something like that, that could be an easier.
I've thought about this before, but I've hesitated a little to voice it. But like, what are your guys' thoughts on getting like I don't know DDA T-shirts with just our logo on them? Like Trent, like how would the finances work for it? Because I don't think we can get like DSG or like funding for that,
Just
right?
use your Healthy Manage Lab funding from last year.
We could.
Yeah.
Well,
Change your budget.
So t-shirts I think would be more of an annual budget.
that would have been an annual budget thing. We would have submitted the last week if we
Wait.
got t-shirts.
T-shirts could have been.
That would have been
Possibly,
next year.
they
Wasn't
would've-
this next year's
Annual budget?
budget? What about last year? Like what about this year's budget?
This year's budget
Is
is
that gone?
no, we still have but we have a remainder of like $700 for
I'd be happy
the
to
1,000
put
last year,
$25
because most of our expenses are paid from either the programming for like with Kathy or from the interdepartmental transfers, but that is allocated specifically to ASL, so it's kind of hard to change it into wanting t-shirts. Yeah. Problem is that DSG may have subsidized it. We could always ask for an appeal, so I could always send them an email saying, hey, change our mind.
Okay, so I just didn't think like DSG or the SOFC supported like T-shirts at all, so it didn't even.
Well, a lot of times they don't, like, for example, Quidditch has
Well,
mandatory
if you call it
uniforms.
uniforms, then they might.
No, we had mandatory uniforms that we need to be like an official team, so like mandatory, and they still didn't.
What? This is so dumb.
So even if we did ask, I'm a little bit out of
Bring it
pocket.
out pocket?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really annoying.
$40.
And you already paid club dues, right?
Yeah, I
Years
don't
off
want,
tickets?
I
We're
don't
not
want to
official
spend
sponsor.
money out of pocket for this, like that's definitely not.
So it's possible, but also we have the Healthy Management Lab money we just got.
I was thinking like, it'd be nice to have like a DDA T-shirt.
I think I agree with you. I can always send them an email.
Just with the logo on it really big and in Duke blue,
Yeah.
then it's really visible and.
There's just one issue, which is making like t-shirts, like club t-shirts, and so this kind of thing is a pain in the ass because you have to go through the marketing department and they have to approve of everything. Like,
Because it has Duke on it.
yeah, just because it has the word Duke, they don't even let us use the letter D on our jerseys.
Why?
Oh my
What the heck?
And it's not even the iron D. Like we designed a different D and they're like, it's still a G, so no.
You can't copyright a letter.
Well, they did.
We own 1/26 of the alphabet.
Yeah,
We're going to learn how to speak without using the.
So if we do want to get t-shirts, I think it's possible, especially since we have some leftover money, but someone's gonna have to take charge of doing the
design.
design and then hopefully getting the approval from the marketing and everything as well. Yeah, do copyright assets,
Well, since I brought this up, I'll look into it.
but I think it'd be nice.
Yeah. All right. I think this is a good productive meeting. Thank you guys all for coming in with such amazing updates. Please send to the exec email or just message me individually or message in our whatever group chat your meeting times just in case anybody wants to come. And then also, sorry, any remaining thoughts, questions?
I just had an idea. It's for the conference actually. I didn't know if there would be a time maybe during a meal or student exposition. If you wanted, I could get our acapella group to come to perform a couple
Oh
songs.
wow.
Whoa.
I just texted our concert manager and she said yeah, of course, they'll be happy to do that, like no cost or anything. So if
That's very nice.
I don't know, if you guys just wanted some entertainment, even if it's just for like 15, 30 minutes, like.
Well, you have the schedule there, you know where all the breaks are.
Yeah, I just was wondering what would fit best.
Yeah. Well, if there's only one, yeah, probably like during the closing reception, which is on
Okay.
Friday night. Just
Okay.
because that's like a whole hour where people are gonna be like eating
Yeah.
food, looking at the student artwork,
That'd be great.
and like it'd be cool to have music at that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's probably the best fit, but there's also like, if that time for whatever reason didn't work, there's all kinds of half-hour breaks,
Very
and then
bougie.
there's
You,
the
like,
lunch,
have a-
there's also
You know.
the reception on the first night is kind of squished in between two things, so that would not be great.
I think the last thing would be cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I just wanted to run that by you.
Moving your part of out of the blue, right?
Out of blue,
Yeah.
If y'all do Queen, I'll lose my shit in a good way.
Yeah, what songs would you do? Like,
We could send
Oh,
you
wait,
like a
there's-
set list.
Don't
Yeah, something pertinent.
I mean,
I don't
I mean,
really know.
I feel like with music,
Um,
that a lot of it is like explicitly about disability,
I
especially if like it's like pop songs.
it's very much
Yeah.
pop songs.
Okay, so we cannot say.
Is out of the blue all women? Oh, okay.
If y'all do Queen, I'll lose my shit in a good way.
Mhm.
That's all
You
I'm saying.
don't do any Queen
So
songs.
everything in the do you know the Performing Arts Studio 124? It's like across the hall from the congregated.
Yes.
That's where a lot of the stuff, like that's where the food's gonna be
Okay,
the whole time, and that's where the student expo is gonna be.
okay, great.
One more thing I gotta ask is that for the disability and disciplines events, besides that, you talking to me about ASL interpretation that we're tasked to fund and handle. Is there anything else? Because if I submit that SFFC programming request this week, I'll need to.
You mean for money?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of things that haven't like fallen into place yet, but
We can talk about that later
yeah,
on.
like, okay, so like for example, I'm gonna give a couple of people honorariums.
Yeah.
Where I wasn't planning on initially having to do that, but I'm gonna do that, but honorariums, if you guys are paying for it, become a huge pain in the ass, because then we have to apply for contracts. And you remember what that was like. So I kind of like don't want you guys to have to be the place where that money comes from. We're also gonna try and get it filmed again. So like the Disability in the Arts event, we had that filmed. We have not seen that movie yet.
Essentially all of,
We sort of need to track that down, but
yeah, essentially all I'm asking for is like, I'm gonna be applying for the programming to finish up the rest of the ASL, but if there's anything else, besides ASL that I need to pay for, that's basically it.
right, yeah, you need to know now. I can't think of anything, and like I'm a co-director of the Health Humanities Lab, so I can just keep asking them for more money.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I plan on doing. So,
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Alright, but I think that covers like everything I had
I don't
planned.
know.
Also, one more idea for trying to get people for the panel, do you think you could reach out to SDAO to send an email as well?
I was thinking about that. Would it be appropriate to like send out some ad through the SDAO listserv? I mean, I guess we'd have to ask Lee Fickling about that.
I mean, they do it, but the response, like, the thing is, there's no way to read, like, it gets filtered through them.
Yeah.
And like, one of the survey responses was actually like, I'm very offended by your emails, like being referred to as a minority in your
Yeah.
emails. And so you do get that sort of stigmatization.
Yeah. I wonder, let's think that through, because if it's coming from SDAO, students might feel like they're not allowed to say anything that might be perceived as critical of SDAO in the session, and they might get, because like, that's the point of this, is to kind of be like, not like a, you guys are terrible, but like okay, there's some shortcomings that exist, and there's some problematic experiences that students have, and we want them to feel comfortable to share those. So that, you know, in the interest of doing better in the future, whether that's because they need more funding, they need more staff, whatever it might be. Because like, I wanna kind of press home the message that like, I don't have anything against anyone at SDAO, like personally, I feel like they're all really on our side and they're
It's
on
just that they
board
don't
with
have the
our overall
resources.
messages, but some of the bureaucratic stuff like has like terrible consequences for the students. And so there's like ways that we could do better systematically, right? It's not about like pointing fingers at anyone at any point, but I do want students to feel comfortable to be critical of the experiences they've had, so.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's something we've struggled with, is just like how do we get people to speak about their experiences, and
Yeah.
like how do we reach out in a way where it's like, we know you have a disability.
Right, right.
So, and I think that's kind of just resulted in like not reaching out at all, and I think like,
What about the people that we've had speak for the beginning of the year, for the conversations, for our annual beginning conversations? If they were able to do it then, I'm pretty sure they might be able to do it now.
Yeah, so we've reached out to, so the 3 people were Jay, Addie, and Andrew.
Yeah.
If Jay can't come because you have the
I got
doctor's
there.
appointment at the same time, which stinks, but, Andrew is a probably yes, but still a maybe because of his law school, like exams.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I think we can probably count on
Yeah,
Andrew, but we can't guarantee that. We do have a grad student who's gonna be coming.
Especially since he's established a grad student version.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it'd be great to have Andrew. And then we asked Addie, I think they're still deciding.
Okay.
So we've reached out because we figured those are the people that have experience and
We're
have
on
done
the
this before.
Yeah,
But
especially since
there's
our
tons
leaders.
of other people that we haven't even met yet who are out there who might want to talk about stuff and.
If you got complaints, come over here. We'll feed you.
yeah.
Alright.
Alright. So guys, have dinner with me, please.
Yeah, we keep saying this. Can we
Right
do
now?
this?
Yeah, what's the best way to figure out what time works for people? Like,
When to meet.
when to meet?
meet.
Okay, I'll send that out in like the recap email, fill it out.
Was this like a everybody?
Like a casual, like let's meet and not talk about work. Like get to know, cause I really am genuinely, I want to get to know you guys and like more beyond like 10-minute like forced life updates. So, yeah, and then also, it's getting towards the end of the year. And I think we should start thinking about exec elections again, especially president. So if anybody is even slightly interested in pursuing this role, please like let me know. Not as like this would not be like a commitment in any way, shape, or form. Just like if you guys want to know more, like what it's been like, what I think has gone well, what I think I should have done a better job at. Yeah. Hey, want to say anything?
Not really.
Okay.
That was all very, very good.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. But yeah, I think like I think it's too early to do it next week, but maybe 2 weeks from now we'll probably really start thinking about elections and running and.
Once we've got every the big events basically ready to go and finished, I think that'll be a good time.
Yeah. And like I definitely would want to stay as like as an advisor role, but I think especially for like the current sophomores or even freshmen, like if you guys want to step up, like please do. And, yeah. Huh?
We're gonna keep soon. We got one more year left.
Yeah. Well, I have to. Yeah. So, guys, have anything else? So what are like the things on the to-do list? All reports in progress, please add it to the Google Drive. Send meeting times. Who are we emailing about what? Sorry.
I'm sending an email to Carrie and it's
Yeah.
already pretty much written.
Uh-huh.
I just need to know who else I'm CCing. Did we decide I'm CCing exec on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
You-
it.
That's
And then
probably
Kevin,
easier.
you'll make sure.
I'll
that
make
we-
it. Yeah, it's way easier. I tried finding all the emails and I can only find like 5 of them.
Okay.
Logan is gonna talk to your acapella group about the performance. Maybe we can appeal the budget thing for t-shirts. Try to like work on that. Yeah. I think.
We should reach out to Alexander too.
Yeah, reach out to I will reach out to Alexander, and then any more ideas on like how to reach out to students who may be like good for the plenary, please like this is something I've been like personally thinking about a lot. It's like how do we get people involved without like already pointing them out.
Yeah, it's kind of because that stigma is there, and we exist to try and eliminate that stigma, or to say that it's a point of pride, which was the point of like having Disability Pride Week, which by the way would have been this week if we were doing that this year. It kind of feels like maybe we're not really doing anything for Disability Pride Week this year, just because of the way things shook out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, but even like making that shift in language, we're trying to send that message. But I feel like if people are just seeing it and they don't feel like that personal connection to it, it's kind of hard. So I don't know. I mean, one thing might be to think about like speakers we could invite for future, some of the people from like the Disability Justice Collective and people like that who are like intersectional activists, like really badass people who would be like a big draw, and that like we get that message out a little bit more. Because like I can't assign reading to the whole university and be like, hey, here's the homework I would be giving in my class. You should all learn from this. So like maybe having a speaker in future who like gets that message across would speak to and spark something in some students who might have a disability identity, or might have a disability and not think of it as an identity, or might like have a disability and not, and like, you know, not want to put it at the forefront of their experience.
What was the phrasing of that report? Like, why were they? Can you say why they were offended? Or
I mean, they were just like, I think there are just a couple people, or at least a couple people who responded to the survey that actively resist considering disability as a part of their identity.
Yeah.
And so those people I think are extremely hard to reach.
Yeah.
Because like basically they, I mean, I hate to classify them as on the opposing side of us,
Right.
but I mean, that's how it is in some sense.
And they might not be the target audience, you know?
So you can't
Yeah, that's
satisfy
true.
everyone.
but I still understand.
And as long as
But
they're
just
not,
some
what was
other
their, like,
people who
reason?
are,
yeah, as
They
long
were
as they're
offended
the outliers, not the
that
whole.
we were doing
Yeah.
at the center.
I guess like disability is not something to be pointed out.
It's like they're
You
like
can't.
hugging the stigma,
Yeah.
like not letting go.
maybe
So there's just
whoever
two
talks to
people.
Carrie Sandal can also pose this question and ask how.
Did you ever encounter? She probably did, honestly, or they probably did.
Okay, I'm just gonna send this email to her now.
Alright. Good, wow, we ended right on time. Thank you guys.
Hey.
And let